Hello, everyone. Ron Zarate here, and you're watching Timing is Everything. And welcome to Chapter 1, Episode 15, Intro to Trends. So here we are, back in 1993. I now have a couple of years of playing under my belt at this point. And during this time period, I've been diving into all sorts of music. Listening to artists like Tupac, Dr. Dre, MC8, Scarface, Goo Goo Dolls, Enough's Enough, Janet Jackson, PM Dawn, Onyx, Lords of the Underground, Run DMC, Selena, Culturas, Fugazi, Bjork, Cypress Hill, The Smashing Pumpkins, Garth Brooks, George Strait, plus so many others. And also just listening to new bands that are coming out, like Counting Crows, Better Than Ezra, Collective Soul, these two new awesome bands named Tool and Radiohead, and the Unplugged show that I've been waiting for months to watch, Nirvana's Unplugged on MTV. I remember waiting up for it one evening just to watch it, so excited and surprised by the set list. I think most people were. But knowing the band, I should have known, huh? Little did I know at the time, it would be my most favorite show to ever watch, and my most favorite album to listen to this day. Man, what a year for music, huh? I remember literally being at my local CD exchange for hours and hours on Saturdays during that year, just listening to all kinds of music, especially running into live CDs of bands like the Smashing Pumpkins, live overseas, or live bootleg copies of different bands I was listening to. It was like a candy store to me, and I would stay there for hours and hours making friends with all sorts of people coming into the store, customers, just everybody, people next door, even the employees there. I even remember one employee sharing her Subway sandwich with me because we were just both digging the same music all day long. I still have a ton of these CDs, actually, that I purchased at that specific store. Most are from there, but others, of course, I bought over the years. Too bad I can't just pop these in my car anymore. Man, miss those days. Here's a shot of them. Check it out. So I actually found my original lyrics that I wrote back in 1993 of this specific song. I'd like to introduce to you today that I've titled Trends. I still have that old notebook that has a lot of my early and first songs that I wrote mainly in my bedroom back in my parents' house when I was between the ages of 13 and 16. Take a look here. You can see here a few changes were made to the lyrics as I wrote them. I do remember naming the title a few weeks or maybe even a month or so after I wrote the lyrics. I couldn't come up with a title and decided on Trends due to what I thought my lyrics were based off of. What was trending at the time, at least in my world. Because we all know that as teenagers, we all have our own little world that we live in. So you can see here how I was spending my time with my friends at that specific time. So as I wrote lyrics to the song, if I'm not mistaken, this song was written in my bedroom one evening, and like I stated earlier, I based it on what I was feeling at the time. As I've mentioned in a previous episode, the way I write is always music first. Whether it be a guitar riff, a drum line, a bass lick, whatever. Usually, it's just a guitar riff in most of my cases. Then once I feel what I'm hearing and playing on the first instrument, I build from there and add the drums second, then the bass third. And if I feel it needs any backup instruments, I'll write them in. Lyrics, melody, and the type and or style of vocals will actually go last. I like for the song to talk to me. I want to feel the song before I add any type of lyrics to it. I want to feel that song talk to me and make me feel some sort of way. Which way? I don't know. There's no way of telling, honestly. It's just all about timing, I guess, and what is going on at that specific moment in my head. So at this point in my life in 1993, going through my parents' divorce was really affecting me tremendously. And looking back now, I can see how I was changing as a person because of it. From the new people I was hanging around with, abandoning childhood friends for new street friends, things I was doing after school, or at times during school. Needless to say, it wasn't a good thing, but I can't regret it as it played a major part in shaping me on who I am today. So as I read through the lyrics, I start off with 8 a.m. and it's time to crash. Yes, this was reality for me and what I was doing at the time and living life at that age. Of course, not a good thing, but going to bed past the sun rising was becoming normal to me as I was hanging out with friends. So I decided to write this as a true story of an experience I had while being downtown in my hometown overnight one evening. True are the words of me missing my ride because the person that was giving me a ride out there was only doing it as a favor to another friend of mine. He really didn't know me, nor did I know him, so it really didn't matter to him if I was there on time or not for that ride. Yes, it was raining, and pretty heavily from what I recall. As I further describe in the lyrics, it took me longer to get there, therefore I missed my ride. Hair restrained all red were words used of not my own hair, but a girl that was a friend of mine who was with us downtown who had dyed her hair red. I just remember seeing it, and it was not just red, but a striking bright red. It looked really, really cool, actually. But now all of us were soaking wet, and I could just see her hair tied back, all red and wet. So threw that lyric in there. And further in the lyrics, I state, this trendy way of what life's about. Due to the fact that this is how I was living my life at the time. Not only me, but all of my friends I was hanging out with at the time as well. When I state it's not a ray, it's not a ray, it's not a way, I am meaning how this is not a way to betray my feelings of myself. Living this life, I am not a king in a sense to feel on top of the world by living this way, nor is it a way to live actually. As Ray, R-E-Y, is Spanish for the word king. So I decided to use the words Ray, W-R-A-Y, in the first line, Ray, R-E-Y, in the second line, and Way, W-A-Y, in the third line. So this is what I'm saying in this part of the song. For the second verse, I continue to describe my time downtown. The experiences I encountered with people downtown I've never met, and some people I had met maybe days prior, as I was hanging out there more and more frequently around that time. Again, I state this trendy way of what life's about, because it was trendy, so to speak, due to the fact on how I myself at the time and those I surrounded myself were living. For the chorus stating, I see the rights not there in this world, tempered tantrums and rain, a teenage soul in grief and pain is not the way. I say this because I feel that I was so upset of the life I was living at the time and felt I had no way out. No matter if I went home, stayed on the streets, or slept in a hospital maternity waiting room, it was all the same to me. I felt I didn't have a way out. It was like a temper tantrum to me in a sense, and I felt all mixed up inside because of it. I felt I had no right in the world at my age to change it, no matter what I did. I felt that my soul, a teenage soul, was in grief and pain, and I knew it, that it wasn't right. It is not the way to live, but I was living it that way. So that is why I wrote these words as the chorus, being that it felt like a mixed bag of temper tantrums. I mixed the wording actually around because it was all like a circus to me. So instead of saying temper tantrums, I say tempered tantrums in rain, mixing up the E and A in these words to, in my head, circus them around, if that's even a thing. But I believe these lyrics were all written in my bedroom, probably a few days later of when the specific experience actually happened. So today, I'm happy to say that I am able to have the opportunity to play you a sample of the 4-track recording I made of the song back in 1993. As mentioned, this song was my first attempt of writing a little more towards pop culture at the time. Why? I have no idea. I think I just wanted to see if I can attempt writing towards that type of sound, I guess. All in fun at the time. Check it out.
down the streets, all buzzed in hate. Something's ahead and I wanna try. When I'm young and stupid, to pass my way. Sooner or later, how are you? Set my mind to speak in a tranquil way. Stranded away on what life's about. Just wanna be things that I can't tell. It's not a road. I see the words meant in this world. Taking attention to me. To make sound and breathing pain. It's not the road.
So again, another old recording that takes me back. I know this is an old recording, so apologize on the audio as the tapes are pretty worn out and original. As I reminisce on this memory today, it is crazy to think that here I am again some 30 years later, listening to it and getting that sense of feeling, that same feeling of when I wrote it back then. It's crazy. So I decided to showcase this song as it was my first attempt at writing a more radio-friendly or pop-type sound, however you want to put it. Hey, I was just learning. You will witness that I will get more creative as my story continues. Trust me. So I stated in a previous video, I'm no longer recording the song today to exactly match the original. As I was doing that before, I went back and listened to those that I've re-recorded already, and I felt that it was sounding very amateur to me, almost like it was me in the garage all over again, but with better clarity. Yes, I was including all my mistakes, all my faults, incorrect drum fills, off timing, etc., but I feel that I have learned enough over the years that I owe it to the song to showcase it as a more professional recording and provide the song a more distinct sound with the gear I have today. Give the song some justice, you know. And trust me, it was tough getting all those mistakes in there. Also, making the song sound right, in a sense, given everything I know today. So as I stated, I re-recorded all my previous songs I have showcased on this channel up to this point, and will be uploading them all in the future once this chapter is completed. As chapters are completed, I will upload all recordings of that chapter on various streaming platforms, and of course I will keep you posted which these will be as the time comes. So for this specific song, I have taken it and re-recorded it using everything I know today. For the gear, I recorded this using the Tascam Model 24, which has turned out to be actually a great recording console and mixer. I didn't use any of the effects on the board at all. Nothing on it actually, but the EQ. But everything utilized are all live effects pedals. I've only used the EQ off the board, and that is it. Once the song is tracked on the board and EQ'd, I run the audio from the board through my Motu M6 and run this into my iPhone and upload the audio into my computer to YouTube. I do not use a computer for any mixing whatsoever, any EQ or anything at all. The computer is basically a platform to upload to YouTube, and that's it. There's no editing software or anything on the computer even. My AirDrop home station, if you must. I record this just as if I were recorded back in the day in my parents' garage, but with better equipment now, and touching up all my previous imperfections up to a point only. And I still don't play to a click. I still don't count out any measures. It is all feelings, and all done on a single take. If I'm 3/4 of the way in and screw up, we do it all over again. This is no editing, no takes together, punching in or out, or anything like that, because I feel the music needs to breathe in a sense. Did not put any caps or limits on any of the instruments. Let them breathe, naturally, as they should. Let my hands and feet roam freely, as they should. This is making music and what it's all about. No boundaries, no limits. Imperfections are okay, and so are your perfected qualities. Music is art, so let's keep it that way. That's my saying. So back to the gear. So for the guitar amps, I use my Orange Custom Shop 50 running through an Orange PPC 412, load it with some Celestion Vintage 30s, and pair that with my 58 Jazzmaster reissue for the rhythm. And for the lead, I utilize my Vox AC15 H1 TVL, pairing that with the 51 SG standard reissue. For the lead, this was the first time I included my pretty new, at the time, Crybaby pedal. I had bought and was trying to figure out how to use it. This pedal is wild and opens your mind up immensely. I was able to actually use it as intended for the first time. And when I used it before, I had no idea what I was doing, and used it at the beginning of the song I'm Caged In, which I previously showcased on another episode. It was only used in that beginning piece. I believe so. So this time I actually use it throughout the song for the first time. To capture the distortion on the rhythm, I utilized my trusty Boss DS1. Yes, that famous little orange box. And for the lead, used the Marshall Shredmaster. Both of these guitar amps were mic'd with an SM57 and an MD421 to capture the sound live. For the bass, I used my Rickenbacker 4003 paired with an Ampeg V4B running into an Ampeg SVT 212AV mic'd with an AKG D112. And for the kit, I'm still using my trusty 4-piece Premier set with my Spawn acrylic snare and a 4-piece Paiste cymbal set. And the kit is mic'd with an SM57 in between the hats and snare, a D112 at the kick, an MD421 in between the toms, and a pair of SL230 condensers for the overheads. And I'm also using an MXL V67, I believe, to capture the kit as a room mic. And for the vocals, I used the RE20 as the main mic, but also used a 58, an SM58 for backing vocals. This is how I captured all of the audio on this song as I played all the instruments individually live. Again, I'm now recording my songs in a new way, cleaning up the song on instrumentation and vocals, tweaking the EQ here and there, and positioning mics how I know now to do them today. I thank you for listening to my story of the song, and this is now the 8th song of the first series of 12 songs that formed my youth from the ages of 13 to 16. I welcome you to let me know what you think in the comments, and I thank you for the time spent listening to this story. Please provide any feedback you may have, as I would really love to hear it. Please be sure to like and subscribe to stay updated on new videos and content as my musical journey through YouTube continues to get published. So to end this episode, please stay tuned for episode 16, in where I will be showcasing the actual video and the audio of the song written today, Trends. Thanks for watching.